Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to lecture 48. Today's lecture we are going to discuss the project monitoring and management. In the last lecture we have discussed how to formulate the project, and in this week we are basically focusing various aspects of project planning and management. So today, in the continuation of that, we are going to discuss the monitoring part and the management part of the project when the project is implemented actually. So under this lecture we are going to cover why project monitoring is important, then what are the stages and activities of the project monitoring which is involved, then project procurement, the project monitoring and management including the quality control during the implementation stage, and project completion and post completion activities. So to start with, why project monitoring, I just show the chart which I showed earlier for the different stages of the project. Here you can see that from the conception of the project to planning is a very important task, and after that when you start execution and quality control till the closure and the post closure. So a project planning and project formulation is one task, but the objective of the project formulation is to implement the project. Now the implementation of the project is so crucial to maintain the cost, to maintain the money, and to achieve the project target. It all depends how actually we follow the project, the formulated project, and do the task as per the time schedule. Therefore, the effectiveness of the project completion depends on the day-to-day basis progress and the implementation of the project. Therefore, it is very important to know the tricks and the methods of the project monitoring and the completion, so that whenever there are projects are being implemented at your workplace or whatever projects you are going to do in future also, you can have a better grip of that and you can implement the project within time. So that is the essential component of the project monitoring. So therefore, project monitoring helps you to achieve the project objective, then it helps you to maintain the cost and time which is planned during the project formulation, and also is ensure the quality of the project outcome, and definitely ultimately the project, a better implemented project will lead to better image of the government and better branding of the organization. So therefore, the project execution and monitoring and the management is important, including quality control. With this respect, we have showed this cycle also. In this cycle you can see that the execution process, monitoring and controlling process, and closing process is also important, and it is shown in a circular manner, so that after the closing process there is a feedback mechanism to start new projects or to give feedback to the another project for the improvement. Now in this regard, so that is why the project implementation and the quality monitoring is important. Now please see the activities during the project monitoring and management. The first is the resource mobilization, because whenever you are formulating the project you are identifying the possible resources, but it is very important to mobilize the resources before starting, because during the project formulation you are identifying, you are making the full detailed description of the project, and as per the description you are estimating the project cost and sending to the approval authority or the funding authority. And once you get the approval of the fund and you get it, sometimes the fund is approved, but you have not received the fund yet. So, those kind of situations are there to so that to avoid those kind of situation, you have to be proactive, so that the moment the project is approved you get the fund on your account, so that you can immediately start the project. We have spent 1 week few lectures on the resource mobilization and management of that. Therefore, I am not going into that particular segment specifically, but definitely the next stage is the procurement. In this stage basically you are going to procure either the product or the material or the contractor service, so that the project can be implemented. Definitely you are not going to implement the everything, you means your organization is not possible, it may not be in a position to implement and do everything. So, there are services or the works which need to be hired by the external agencies. So, those procurement from the other party need to be taken. Then once the procurement is done, then you start the project, and next is the monitoring of the progress. Even if it is done by the under the terms and condition of the procurement, but then as a controlling authority, as a implementation authority, you have the power and the mandate to monitor the project, to ensure the quality control of the projects, to install the systems and the process, so that you can have a real time database of the progress of the project. So, that is what included in the monitoring. In the last stage basically it is the completion and the post completion task, how you complete a project, and after the completion of the project what else you need to do. So, let us start with the procurement. Basically in the procurement there we basically take the services during the procurement through the contract. The contract could be like for asset creation, or it can be to procure some service. So, during the asset creation we can take the like contract like item rate. For example, you are procuring some furniture element in your organization. So, those furnitures could be, or some similar items could be listed as per some approved rates, and as per the approved rates you can take those elements time to time as and when required. Then there could be lump sum contract and the turnkey contract. Both are basically having the terms and condition to get some particular product or material within a contracted agreement. Then you can hire some service provision, for example, for the construction of the road, for construction of the building, construction of the school building, you can hire the services of a contractor, and this service could be management contract, lease agreement, concession, direct private investment, divestiture, and several methods like BOT, like build, operate, transfer, build, operate, own and transfer, this type of mechanism. So, basically we hire the services of the expert organization who has the expertise and the credential of the similar works which they have done in the past years. And in the definitely beyond that there are few projects which are being executed by the public private partnership organizations. So, those will be dealing later on separately, but here we can take the management service like the service procurement from various contractor through this method. Now, for procuring any service or any material, we have to make a bid document. Bid document is nothing but a document which is giving the full description of the procurement, terms and condition of the procurement, so that a third party or another private party can give an proposal to supply that material or that supply that particular service within a given rate or within a given price component, and after that you can compare the price components or the technical component, and you can select or choose one contractor or one supplier. So, that is why what is bid document. So, bid document basically consists of instruction to the bidders basic informations like drawing, bill of quantity and specification, general conditions of the contract, special conditions if there are any special condition which is outside the general condition. Then bank guarantee is taken to ensure that the contractor or the suppliers they follow the financial norms. Then agreement format. So, these are the contents in a bid document, a general bid document which is provided. Then under the rate contract there could be items from minimum to maximum, quantity variation, if the quantity varies after a certain amount, what kind of changes in the rate will be there, those kind of specification is there. Then for the road, change of specification like say bituminous to other change of specification, those kind of that means the customization specification will be there in the rate contract bid document. Then staffing in terms of service procurement, what kind of involvement, continuity and training is required for the service sector. Then apart from that, the bid document also should ask about the work program, setting up the quality control lab, the joint measurement, the mechanism of the joint measurement, bill preparation, how the payment will be done. Then penalty clauses, rejection of the poor quality of work, the variation of time and cost, what will happen if the time and cost is not maintained by the contractor. Then rates for new items and variations in quantity, if any new item is required during the project execution, what will be the rate and what will be the variation. Then revision in the rates as per the contract, mobilization, advance and recovery. So, these are the typical other information apart from the basic information which I told should be there in the bid document. Then after the bid document you ask for the proposal, and after getting the proposal you compare the proposal and select one. So, during the processing you have to maintain the Transparency Act, the competitive bidding, so that everybody can participate, no one should be excluded from the process, anybody eligible should be able to bid for the project. Then nowadays we always do the electronic tendering because it is better, it can reach many people within a very quick time, and it is also very cheaper. If you advertise in a newspaper or any offline media, it will cost a few thousands or lakhs rupees, and in electronic tendering you do not have to incur much cost. So, what organizations do, they give a small announcement in the newspaper and they refer the complete document in the electronic format, that is the from the website. Then eligibility of the contractor, you have to check the pre-qualification and the post-qualification. I will come to this point later. Then bid packaging, what kind of size, location, similarity, complexity, cost etc. will be there in the package of the proposal. Scheduling of the tender, interconnected works, how the service providers will schedule the work, that also need to be mentioned. And in the tendering process, advertisement could come at the national, state level. There could be a pre-bid meeting, modification may be required during the which based on the queries and the clarification made during the pre-bid meeting, and after that bid submission and opening in the presence of the contractor. This is the mechanism or the process which is taken for any procedure. So, please follow this process which is required to maintain for a procurement. Then the pre-qualification of the contractors are basically the particular types and classes of work what they have done for the project period, the subsequent re-evaluation and the criteria of the organization, technical, financial capacity. So, pre-qualification is based on whatever qualification and the expertise or the credential they have, based on that the pre-qualification is judged, and based on that they are allowed or not allowed. The post qualification is basically done in two stages, like basic requirement, whether the firm or the company can fulfill the basic requirement which is given in the bid document for doing the project or not, and the two-stage evaluation is also mandatory, like technical stage and the financial stage. Some of you know that initially the technical stage is evaluated, and if they perform well, if they are allowed or if they are evaluated accepted during the first stage evaluation, then their the costs are compared, and based on that lowest cost is considered for selection. So, during the bid evaluation, basically you have to make a tender evaluation committee consisting the technical persons, technical, administrative, and also the representative in your local body. There could be single bid, non-responsive bid, conditional bids. Evaluation of the bids could be verification and correction of the bid prices, comparative statement. This all you have to make by your technical team and put up to the committee, so that committee can check and approve it. Then approval of the tender evaluation report, letter of acceptance and work order to be issued. Then a contract agreement will be signed. So, contract agreement will have all the terms and conditions which are given in the bid document, and it, in addition, the additional terms and condition also can be put as per the work order or as per the subsequent discussions. Then there could be a system of performance security, freak rates, increasing security and negotiation. What kind of negotiations will be required in during the execution, those kind of provisions also need to be specified in the contract agreement. Then if you hire a consultancy service which is basically in services in nature, then it is also important that you take the international and domestic consultant. Nowadays it is very common in like centrally sponsored schemes in like smart city, Amrut and many other schemes. The municipalities, even ministries and the state governments, they are hiring the international and the domestic consultants, because it has been found that many cases the urban local government, they are not able to do each and everything of a large program like smart city or the Amrut or Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, all these large programs. Then for the consultancy service, it can be done separately, like you can make a short listing of the consultant based on some criteria, mostly technical criteria. And before I discuss the capacity building for urban development project, under this capacity building for urban development projects is, it's a capacity building and transfer of knowledge and skill. So, the short listing of the consultant or the training entities were done based on the past credential of the similar activities. So, it is basically the technical criteria which makes the consultant eligible. Next is the procurement of the consultancy service. This procurement is done based on like similar to bid process, but sometimes the procurement can be simplified, because here you are hiring the consultant. Terms of references will be there as the detailed terms of reference and the conditions. Then similarly you do the evaluation of the technical proposal based on biodata, short or full technical proposal, monitoring and the consultancy service, performance, what a kind of performance and deliverables are linked, then consultancy fee linked to outputs. So, there could be pre-examination, execution phase, execution phase. Now, here there is another trend that which is becoming very much popular in India, that it is also very much difficult to hire each and every aspect of the development, hire different consultant, and managing so many consultant in a small organization is also difficult, and the quality control also become very much challenging. In this situation, sometimes the government, state government or the large municipal corporation, they hire a master consultant who will be given the mandate or the responsibility to manage other small consultant. That's how the overall procurement of the consultancy service also could be made simpler and easier. Then during the project monitoring and management, after the procurement is done, you start the project, and during the project you have to maintain the project timing and the cost, and during that time basically we do a concrete work plan. Even though work plans are mentioned in the project formulation DPR, but here we make a revised one based on the current status of the project. We use bar chart, network diagram. Basically we decompose the activities so that the project could be shown into various small task and subtask. Then after that we make a sequencing of the task, then every sequencing we put a activity duration, that is time, activities with or without floats, how much time can be there and how much time could be extended, that also we have to see. Critical activities in the critical path. Critical path is nothing but the critical the process or the connections between two or several tasks which are most critical and could be done in a more quicker way. Those are the critical path has to be identified and to be detailed out. Duration compression of the technique. So, this kind of crushing or fast tracking, this kind of provisions are there to undertake the some amount of changes happening during the projects which is natural. Then apart from that, we can use project management tools like MS Project or Primavera. These are the software used for project management. So, using software will maintain the database of the day to day project management progress, and also will project or predict the possible completion time, possible cost and everything. So, and it helps engineers and the project implementer in a better way, so that the project can be implemented on time. Then this is a typical, you can typical project management bar chart. You can see how the under every task the subtasks are maintained, and every subtask has the time limit, like baseline time to the time plan, and here the time plan is shown, and every task is shown as per the date wise, week wise or month wise. So, similar type of bar chart can be prepared. You can use, if you do not have the sophisticated softwares, you can use simple MS Excel. Every office must be having the MS Office software. So, MS Excel also can be used to prepare this type of bar chart, and you can revise time to time during the project execution period. During the implementation, basically some criteria which you need to consider is the variations, the approval of the project during and the before the project, interagency coordination. Every project needs coordination between the other organization. If you are constructing a road projects, definitely it needs coordination between the water supply, sewerage, the PWD, all the organizations. So, those kind of coordination is required. Progress report, the intervals, what is the frequency of the project report, and the outcome of the project progress report, and what is the further action taken after the progress report, that need to be detailed out. Project management software, as I told, project management software can be used. Project completion report to be done, then documentation of the lessons learned and the best practice. A benefit evaluation could be done. Management action plan may be required based on the progress or lack of progress, and the quality control. In the quality control, I give you an example that how Government of India under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, they have made some templates, forms and formats to maintain the quality control. Just have a look, you will understand. So, these are the basically the basic information of some project. Then these are the project overview, and these are the some salient information related to cost and progress. So, total fees approved, or what kind of activities are going on. Similarly, they have templates like this which is used for a third party monitoring report. So, this is I have just shown only the first page. There are many pages, you can have a look of the document. So, it is a very exhaustive document. So, then you can also do the third party quality monitoring if you are unable to make the quality monitoring at your own level. Similarly, there could be an action taken report by the based on the third party quality monitoring, because third party quality monitoring report will be based on the actual status of the project. So, based on that there could be some gaps, some lacuna in the project. So, some action could be taken. So, those kind of report also is required, right. So, I go forward, then okay. Now, in the completion and the post completion period, when you complete the project, basically we make a project completion report so that it becomes a complete document which will help the future city managers to execute similar projects, and also to refer this document if any clarification, any references are required for that particular projects. So, just have a look what are the contents of the project completion report. So, it consists the project proposal details and the modification, administrative and technical approvals, then problems encountered, delays occurred and the solution adopted, pre and post qualification of the contractor, bid packaging, tendering, types of tender, scheduling of tender, details of contract management, if there is a delay and effect and a penal measure, everything, utilization of the completed assets, comparison of the actual versus projected fund, monitoring process, best practices if you have adopted anything, and analysis of the tender premiums, what kind of time extension, cost escalation are allowed, then audit reports and also as built drawing. So, you can see that the project completion report consists of like the project plan, the bid or the procurement papers, and also the monitoring, during the monitoring whatever. So, these 3 stages, monitoring and execution stages, whatever we are doing, all those papers are included. So, most of the stages of the project cycle is included in this project completion report. And after the project completion, basically we do a documentation of the lessons learned and best practices. This documentation may not be very large. A project completion report is a exhaustive report which can be very much thick, but documentation of the lessons learned could be very much brief and it can be circulated through websites or through other medias. Then what kind of benefit you have achieved, then consolidation of the periodic reports and the final survey, then what kind of management action plan is taken for the future project, that also could be taken. Then all these actions regarding manpower and the resource, then further monitoring of the performance for the future projects, auditing, further placement additions as required, performance and efficiency auditing. So, these are the post project actions which is required to maintain the project or to document the project for the future project proposal and for future project execution. So, in brief we have discussed today the project monitoring and the management. We have told you that in a project cycle the project monitoring, quality control and its management for the implementation is very important stages, and in these stages we do the resource mobilization, we procure the material or the services, and then we execute the project through the strict quality control, and we make the completion report and the post completion actions. In the procurement process we make a bid document, we make tender evaluation committee, and based on the 2-stage evaluation, technical stage and the economic and the financial stage, we identify the lowest bidding contractor or the supplier, and then we select them for execution of the project. And not only that, due to time to time we make quality monitoring. We have shown the examples how the nationally coordinated programs are being monitored through the third party quality agency, but for the small projects definitely you can take up the quality monitoring at your own end. And in the last we compile each and every information starting from the earlier project plan, the deviations, delay or the expansion revisions of the project, bid document, terms and condition, the as built drawing and all the approvals, everything together compiled, and it is called as a project completion report. The project completion report is a very important document which helps in future for any reference or any clarification of the project, and also it helps to execute future projects, similar projects and also other projects. And after the project completion report is done and submitted, there are few post project completion actions which is required to maintain the particular project and to help the other project or to document the best practices or the lessons learned for the better understanding. So, with this I would like to conclude today's discussion. Next day we will discuss some of the essential terminologies and the features what we do in the engineering design, so that when you execute any project you understand the languages of the BOQ and the project DPR, and whenever there are you are handling the contractors or the engineers, you can understand at least some terminologies, so that you can ensure the project target and the project completion time in a better way. So, thank you very much for attending this lecture.